cannot do. Form layout will be done by the ABAP team, technical team. But at least a few text, header and footer information, we will do the changes. I will show you that one. Okay. So let us continue. Okay. Today we are going to start about the BAM, bank account management. So in the previous session, we have posted the vendor invoice. Here, what we did in the FBL1N transaction code, we can able to see the invoice amount which we have posted. Now, these are the documents which we had posted in the previous session. So this is the payment amount which we have to do to the vendor. But now the due date, you can see that due date overdue. Overdue is nothing but the amount. Okay, this is one of the important thing. Please take note in the vendor invoice itself. Baseline date. See how this line item is nothing but a vendor invoice will become overdue. Overdue is nothing but a vendor invoice. Vendor invoice to become vendor invoice due. We can see the following indicators. So if you want to become a vendor due, then what you can do first, as soon as once you reach there, then what you can so you can see it's a not due. Not due. Not due means since this line item right is not yet due is nothing but the amount, the line item, the document, the invoice will be paid in future. In future means today, not immediately. Maybe as soon as once the due date will come into picture. Due date is nothing but see now you have taken a loan from the bank. Then there should be a due. I mean, either you need to pay the month end or either you need to pay first week of that one. That is what I'm talking about, the due date. Not due is nothing but the invoice will be paid in future. Second thing, it might be a overdue. Overdue is nothing but the time, the payment time is already crossed. The payment time or date is already crossed. The payment date is already crossed. Crossed in the sense, this invoice, whatever we are seeing, right? This one, we should supposed to make the payment. See, this one, we should supposed to, why it is showing is a overdue? Overdue is nothing but the date which was already crossed here. We should supposed to make the payment 11th of October. But how this will be calculated? What is the reason behind that to calculate that one? So the due date will be calculated based on the payment term. Okay. Just for your information, I'm giving the hint, but anyhow, we are going to discuss a lot about the payment terms. What is the payment term? How the payment terms are being configured, that we will see. So based on the payment term, the baseline date will be calculated. Baseline date is nothing but what is the base to calculate the payment term? Either the baseline date, it could be a posting date, or it could be a document date, or it could be an entry date. Okay, there are various parameters which are available. According to our selection, this will be calculated. So the baseline date is nothing but from when the system need to calculate the due date. Okay, so due date calculation can be done based on baseline date. Baseline date. So baseline date is nothing but a baseline date. It is nothing but a what is the base to calculate? What is the base to calculate the due dates? Due date for payment. Please take note. This is one of the important thing. But anyhow, we are going to discuss this one as a separate. Okay. Now let's move on to the. See, we have created the vendor invoices. Now, what is the accounting entry here? If we can see here, vendor account will be debit. Vendor account will be credit. The expenses account will be credit. Expenses account will be debit. Expenses account debit. Vendor account will be credit here. Again, please take note. Posting keys are changed here. 31 is a credit of vendor. 40 is common. 40 we have already seen. 40 is the debit, just for your information. So whenever we could see this one, the vendor has already provided the services. On behalf of the services, we have to make the payment to vendor. So in order to make the payment for every business transaction is nothing but the payment related transaction, as you already aware. If the payment amount beyond the 20,000 rupees, we should not do through cash because that will be recorded legally in the books of accounts. So that is the reason now I want to make the payment through bank. Bank means in India, you can see that if we would like to make the payment through bank, we have a n number of ways are there. Like you can do the payment through NEFT, you can transfer, RTGS, then as well as IMPS. So there are different check payment method. There are different payment methods are there. So how that can be configured into the system? First, let's see that one. So as of now, we have not created the bank accounts. There are a lot of changes in the BAM. Now we are going to discuss about the bank account management. Bank account management, BAM. We are going to call it as a BAM. Please take note. This one has a lot of changes in S4HANA. Okay. Let's see now. In order to create the bank account, so now our organization has the bank account, like it could be in HDFC or Axis Bank, whatever it may be, where they have the bank accounts. Those bank accounts we have to create into the SAP system. So first, let's see that to create the bank account, we have bank accounts. We have to follow below approach or below process in ECC. Because ECC 6.0, as I mentioned, right? What I mentioned here. In order to make the payment to vendors with various payment methods, we would require bank accounts. bank account. So what are the payment methods which we have discussed? It might be a online transfer, when we talk about the online transfer, it might be a NEFT, sorry, it might be a NEFT transfer, then RTGS, or it could be a IMPS. So it could be this is online transfer. Then it could be a check payment method. So in order to achieve this requirement, right, then we have to create the bank accounts. First step. So in the creation of the bank accounts itself, we have the changes as compared with ECC. So that's what now, to create the bank accounts, we have to follow the process, the below process in ECC. Now at the same time, to create the bank accounts, we have to follow below approach in S4HANA. Please take note. S4HANA. So before creation of the bank accounts, even GL accounts, first let's come from the beginning. Bank accounts. Okay, there are two things which you need to understand. Number one is a GL accounts, bank GL accounts, bank general ledger master data setup in ECC. At the same time, the bank general ledger setup in S4HANA. First change number one. Okay, I'll put it here. Change number one. Okay, so that it is the, maybe it have the clear understanding. Change number one, GL accounts, right? When we talk about the general ledger master data, let me open simultaneously the ECC system so that we may have clear understanding here what exactly we were doing in ECC system. Let it be open. If I go to the transaction code FS00, ECC, this one is a, okay. So when I want to create a GL master data for bank accounts, so here if you can see, okay, first let's see here GL account type. GL account type, here you can see there is a concept to call it as a cash account. Cash account concept has been introduced in S4HANA. But this cash account type, which was not available in S4HANA. So first let's see that the concept, the same concept in ECC system, what was there? As I mentioned multiple times, in GL account setup in ECC system, we had only two account types. One is a balance sheet account, another one was a profit and loss account. But in S4HANA, we have the 5 GL account types. 5 GL account types. What are those means? You can see that cash account, non-operating, but other just forget about it. Now the cash account is relevant for bank GL accounts setup. Let it be open. Okay, let it be open this ECC server. Meanwhile, let's continue. So the cash account concept which has been introduced. What does it mean by the cash account and how it helps in S4HANA system? We'll talk about this one. First, let's see that change number 1, bank general ledger master data setup. Please take note, important here. Number 1 here is a all bank general ledger accounts were part of balance sheet. Balance sheet accounts. Balance sheet accounts. Number two, for each bank account, while creation of bank GL accounts, we must have to create at least 3 GL accounts for each bank account. I will explain one by one here. Okay. Just for your information. Then, if you can see here, it's already been right. Okay. Now let me open the system. So now I am in the ECC system. Please concentrate. This one is one of the important topic. Okay, I'm going back to FS00. What I have shown in S4HANA system. You can see here, there are only the GL account types here, account groups here, profit and loss account, and balance sheet account. We had only these 2 account groups in ECC system. See now, this is ECC system. But whereas in S4HANA, this is our S4HANA system, the same account groups, the same GL account types here, you can see that cash account, non-operating primary account, secondary costs, and balance sheet accounts. So account groups in ECC, we had only 2. See now, P&L account groups, you have different account groups, but account types, P&L account and balance sheet. But in S4HANA, GL account types, you had 5. So this is one of the biggest change. But as I mentioned, right, if the GL account, okay, if the GL account which is related to the bank account, you can see that it's a part of the balance sheet account. You can see that main bank account. Let me see now. The GL account which was created under balance sheet account, all your GL accounts were created, all bank GL accounts, especially in ECC system, we must have to create under balance sheet accounts. All the GL accounts which are related here, you can see that. So the GL accounts which are part of balance sheet in ECC system. That's what I mentioned, the point clearly here. I'll take the screenshot, then I'll update into the system. So now you can see that balance sheet account here. So the balance sheet account here, main bank account, what you can see that main bank account, main bank outgoing incoming clearing account. So you can see that. While creation of GL accounts, right, we must create at least 3 GL accounts. So point number 1, which is matched here. So the point number 1, for the point number 1, right, you can see that the balance sheet GL accounts, which I have highlighted here, balance sheet, just for your information. Okay, don't confuse. Clearly, I have highlighted here. Now coming to the point number 2. Point number 2, while creation of the bank GL accounts, we must have create at least 3 GL accounts for each bank account. Please concentrate. Still, I'm requesting you, very, very important one. So while creation of the bank account. So first of all, what is the, in order to set up the bank, okay, change number 2. Okay, change number 2. In order to set up a new bank account, set up the new bank account, we have to follow the below steps. So in order to set up the new bank account, you have to follow the steps in ECC system. What are the steps which you need to follow? That is important for us now. So first thing is that now our organization might have the bank accounts. Okay, physically, right? Even I am the individual, I have the bank account in HDFC, ICICI, Axis Bank, SBI. Wherever you want, you can open the bank accounts. Now we have the bank accounts as follow. Bank accounts are in multiple banks. Now I have that HDFC Bank. I have that, let's say now, ICICI Bank. Now I have the bank account in Axis Bank. So now we have the bank accounts in these banks. Now if I want to set up, I'll take the one example. If I want to set up, okay. Now let's say now let's see that ICICI Bank. What is the ICICI Bank number? Let's say now 0. This is the ICICI Bank number. Sorry, HDFC. So this is the ICICI Bank number. Let's say now, I'm just giving the randomly and taking that example. Okay. This is the ICICI Bank number. So now Axis Bank, you may have that. So this is your Axis Bank. So these are the banks, house banks. So these are the house banks. These are the numbers, bank numbers, bank account numbers. So bank account numbers which has been dedicated or which are provided by the bank. Okay, you and me, we cannot decide these numbers. Now the requirement here is that, let's say now first I want to set up the ICICI Bank. Now to set up a bank account, to set up a ICICI Bank account in SAP, we have to follow the steps. We have to follow the steps in ECC. Okay, first I'll mention here in SAP ECC. Okay, we should have clear understanding. Otherwise, right, it will get confused here. ECC. In the change number 2, I'm still talking about. So first, what I would require here is first one here is a bank key should be required. What is the bank key? Okay, bank key. The bank key is representing that where the bank is located. Where the bank is located means the bank might be located is a bank address representing that where the bank is located means address information. Okay. Here. Address. The bank address will be, let's say now I have a bank account in Hyderabad. Okay, in Hyderabad, which branch you are having? Let's say now Kukatpalli I have. Let's say now Amirpet I have. So the address information, the bank key, it consists of the address information. Now, in order to create that bank key, right, the transaction code in S4 in ECC system F501, F501. Now the next one, I'll put it here, transaction code is F501. Now the house bank, now the next one is the house bank is representing that. The house bank is representing that. In which bank we are having bank accounts. Even the bank key which is representing that country also, which is representing that country. The bank key is representing that where that bank is located, means a country wise also we can see. So house bank, in order to set up my house bank, in order to set up the house bank here, right, even the transaction code here is a transaction code, here is a F512, F512, or some people can say F512 underscore H bank also they can say, but you can use till F512 transaction code, you can use it, you can set up the bank account, house bank. So as soon as once the house bank will be set up, now you must have to create the bank account. Bank account is nothing but the number which has provided, the bank account number which has provided by the bank. So which the bank has been, let's say now I have a different bank account number. The same bank account number will not be provided to others because the number will be differ. So in order to create the bank account in ECC system, the transaction code here is a transaction code is a F512. Now, change number we have already seen here. Okay, what are the change in the change number 2? These are the steps which we need to follow. Okay, so now you can see that I can show clearly, I have explained here. But whereas in S4HANA, let's come one by one here. Let's come one by one in ECC. In ECC, what we would like to see here. What is the process and what is the approach we want to follow? This is very, very important for us now. Okay. So to create the bank accounts, we have to follow the approach in ECC. Change number 1, bank general ledger master data setup. Here, right here, we have seen about the bank accounts. Okay, transaction code. At least we would require is a 3 GL accounts. As I mentioned, right, in order to set up the bank account, we have to follow the below steps. Bank accounts, right? Then we will be created. Okay, while creation of the bank accounts, we must have at least 3 GL accounts for each bank accounts. So what are the 3 GL accounts? One is for main bank GL account. Main bank GL account. You can see that main bank GL account. I will explain you. Don't worry about that one. Then next one is outgoing clearing account. Outgoing clearing account. Next one is a incoming clearing account. What are these GL accounts and why we would require the 3 GL accounts? Why we would require the 3 GL accounts here? Still we are discussing in the change number 1. point number 2 we are discussing. So the main bank account, the main bank account is always represent that bank balance equal, always represent that, okay, represent that bank account balance equal to balance. So now let's say in your ICICI bank at this moment, now the time is 7:06. At this moment, you have the 1,000 rupees balance in your ICICI bank, whatever it may be. So the bank balance should be always equal to your main bank GL account, whatever the balance which is lying in your bank account. The balance which should be equal. See now, this is in ECC, right? We are talking about this is a main bank account. So this GL account balance, whatever balance which is lying in this GL account, that balance is equal to my bank balance. Just for your information. So it should be equal to my bank balance, the main bank GL account. So now we have that outgoing clearing account. So what is the outgoing clearing account, which is why we would require the outgoing clearing account? 1 second. I'll just give you one example here so that you may understand easily. Now we have the bank account. Let's say now ICICI Bank. ICICI bank account. Bank account, what is the ICICI Bank? Here we have that this is the bank account number what we are having at this moment. Just for example, understanding purpose. So this bank account, it has the balance here. Okay, this has the balance. Let's say now 10,000 rupees. So this is the bank. When you log in into the internet banking, right? You can see the 10,000 rupees balance in your bank account. So for this 10,000 rupees balance, where you can see at every time, the users cannot go back and log in into the bank account. But that to log in into the bank account, that is, users may not have access to log in and verify that bank account. Even let's say one bank account they can verify. If I have that 100 bank accounts, so it is impossible to check each and every bank account balance. So that is the reason this main bank account, which is interconnected to your main bank GL account. So whatever the GL account which are representing for your main bank account or which will be associated, that balance, this 10,000 rupees balance should be equal to your main bank account. That is where I'm talking about here. Now, outgoing clearing account. When we talk about the outgoing clearing account, so I'll take an example here. 13th of October 2025, what we did, let's say now we just made the payment. We made the payment to vendor through check. Okay, through check. We did the payment, let's say now 2,500 rupees. So 13th of October, we just did the payment here. But the moment when we issued check, let's say now I have issued checks to banks, I mean to my vendor. If you remember, before 4th of October 2025, let's say now there is a RBI which the rule newly imposed before 4th of October 2025, if the check is an outstation check. Now, let's say now I'm staying in Bangalore. Now I want to, the check which I have received from the vendor, I mean from the customers from Mumbai, at this point of time, what was happening? The check was taking more than 24 hours in order to clear the check amount. But as per the RBI new rule, after 4th of October 2025 onwards, any outstation checks, it must have to clear within a 1 day. There is no such restrictions. I mean, even it will not take more than 24 hours. So that's what the new rule which has imposed by the RBI recently. You can just refer the changes in the Google if you want. So in that perspective, right, the moment we have issued check to vendor, but I cannot say that one the money has already gone out from my bank account, right? It is a still in transit. So that amount still it is a in transit. In transit is nothing but a yet to clear the amount. Yet to clear the amount. So without this one, you cannot treat this amount. Okay, already that amount already credited to vendor account. No, absolutely not. We just issued check, but amount is not yet uh, deducted from our bank account, right? So you cannot treat that one. In such a situation, outgoing clearing account should be required. That this 2,500 balance will be lying in your outgoing clearing account. So you mean to say you can understand this one? Okay, this balance which is lying in my bank account, I mean, still it might be payment will happen, but still it is lying in an outgoing clearing account. So incoming clearing account. So is that clear for everyone? I'm just requesting you, is it clear for everyone? If anyone has any concern, any query, please let me know about here. Okay. Now, incoming clearing account. We'll talk about the incoming clearing account. So the outgoing clearing account, which is representing that it's a outgoing payments. Incoming clearing account. The same example. We'll take the same example only. On 13th of October only 2025. Let's say now we have received a check from customer. We have received a check from the customer for payment. Let's assume the amount which say we have received this. This is the check amount. So let's say now I have received check. Our organization has received check from the customer. But as soon as once you receive check, right, you cannot treat that the amount is already received from the customer. There could be a lot of reasons you may not receive. Might be the customer is not maintained sufficient bank balance. The check might be bounced. You cannot imagine the situation, what will happen until and unless to receive that amount into our bank account. So the check is deposited at bank. See, now we have received check from the customer, let's say now at 10 a.m. At the same time, just 1 second. Okay. So at 10 a.m. we have received. On the same day, we have deposited check. We have deposited check in bank. At what time we have deposited? Let's say now 11 a.m. we have deposited the check. Does it mean that as soon as once you deposit the check, is it the amount will be reflected in our bank accounts? No. As of now, we just deposited check into the bank account for the collection. So that amount, you deposited the check into bank account where you can show that you need to show incoming clearing account. Still that amount, it is in transit. Means from customer account to it has to be collected amount, then it will be showing into our bank accounts. Then this is the reason behind that we would require is an incoming clearing account. So now at the same time we have received amount from customer. Received amount from customer customer's bank account or check has been cleared. Then you can also consider check has cleared. Cleared at what time? Let's say now 3 p.m. 3 p.m. So as soon as once this will be happened, right? Then the the amount will be reflected in our bank account. This incoming clearing account, these are all the intermediary accounts or bank sub accounts. These accounts balance will become zero. But how the balance will become zero, we will see that one. Okay, we have seen about complete ECC process. Okay, ECC process, you can see here. Now let us talk about the S4HANA process. S4HANA process, please concentrate. If anyone still need any clarification, anything, so please let me know. Okay.
Hello.
Yes, Subbu.
Sir. This is the bank balance will be
Yes,
showing the main account, sir.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
There is outgoing,
Main
whatever
GL
the
account.
outgoing payments and incoming payments, those two GLs will use.
Those are intermediary accounts, just
Yeah.
for temporary. Exactly. Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Whenever check is issued, that is the outgoing. Whenever checks comes in, incoming clearing.
Incoming. But right, see, if I have issued check, let's say now you have issued check to me, let's assume. You cannot treat that until and unless if I deposit that check into bank account, until and unless the amount will be deducted from your bank account, you cannot treat that the amount has already gone out, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Just accounting only we will do it.
Yes,
Maybe.
exactly.
Whenever check issued, we will account in this one outgoing GL will use.
Yes,
Okay.
vendor account will be debit, outgoing
Yes,
clearing
correct.
account will be credit. Yes, Subbu. Yes, you are right.
Okay, sir. No doubt for that. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, Subbu, no problem. Okay. Now, bank general ledger master data. If I wanted to see here, right? Now I'm moving into the S4HANA. In S4HANA, while creation of the GL account, while creation of the bank GL account, we have a concept called it as a cash account. We have a concept to call it as a cash account. This one in the GL account type followed by the cash account is relevant for us. Cash. Now, here, right, I'm putting the same word, same sentence here. All bank GL accounts, we can create under GL account type, under account type cash account. Okay, all bank GL accounts we want to set up in the cash account. But remember this one. When I am going to talk about this one, right? Is it mandatory to set up all my bank GL accounts in the cash account? You may ask the question, sir, in ECC, I'm following this approach. All my bank GL accounts were part of balance sheet. Does it require to create all the bank accounts in my cash account? I can able to create instead of cash account, right? Instead of cash account, I can use balance sheet account also. See, balance sheet account, this is the option still remain available, still remain same. But does it require to cash account? Okay, still just remember this one. Note, if client want, still we can create bank accounts under balance sheet, under account type, balance sheet in S4HANA also. In S4HANA, and it is still we have, okay, still we have the old approach in ECC also. Old process is remain same in S4HANA. The old process, right, which we have following, I mean, which we were following in S4HANA system, still that same process, it is available. It is not mandatory to go with the, or to create all your bank accounts in the cash account. But still, if you follow the cash accounts, there are a lot of advantages which S4HANA has been introduced. If you follow that, the cash account. But what are the advantages which client is going to gain if they adapt this functionality? We will see that one. So while creation of the bank accounts, right, then B, point number B here. Now, while creation of the bank GL accounts, while creation of the bank GL accounts, we may not require all three GL accounts. We may have not required 3 GL accounts for each bank account. Okay, I'll mention this one. See, one thing which I have mentioned right here. Okay, so now what is our requirement here while creation of the GL accounts? What we discussed here, right? Then one is a main bank account, outgoing clearing account, incoming clearing account. Let's talk about the ICICI. So ICICI, I must require the 3 GL accounts. Okay, what are the 3 GL accounts which we have seen here, right? Let's say now, I'm just giving an example, that ECC example here. So now these are the 214400. 214. This is, let's say now, my main bank account. Then second, this note. Okay, so this is my main bank account. So this is the one which is representing, that is outgoing. So this is my incoming clearing account. Incoming clearing account here. So in order to set up the ICICI Bank, now please remember this one. In order to set up the ICICI Bank, you would require this. The following GL account should be required. Now at the same time, if you want to set up that HDFC Bank, if you want to, let's say now ICICI Bank, right, which I talked about. Now below I mentioned, right, HDFC Bank. Let's say now we wanted to set up, let's talk about the Axis Bank. Let's talk about the Axis Bank. Let's see now. Axis Bank account. So again, in order to set up the Axis Bank, again, you may require 3 more GL accounts. 3 more GL accounts, let's say now 10, 11, 12. Again, if you want to set up that HDFC Bank, again, you may require 3 more GL accounts. That's what I mentioned, the point here. So in order to set up that HDFC Bank, right? Okay, so I'll add this, which I have already mentioned here. Okay, so these are the 3 GL accounts may required. Main bank account, outgoing clearing account, main bank account, I'll bring into down here. So main bank account, outgoing. The similar logic would be applicable for other banks also. HDFC, you can set up Axis Bank account. You can set up any bank account. Then it may require 3 GL accounts in ECC system. This was mandatory in ECC system. But now, if we talk about the S4HANA, the 3 GL accounts, right? While creation of the bank account, we may not require 3 GL accounts for each bank account. So, but what else? What are the changes which has come into S4HANA system? First, remember this one. Remember this one, the cash account, the concept, right? The concept of cash account. The concept of cash account type in S4HANA has been introduced from 2020, from S4HANA version 2020 onwards. 2020 onwards. Before that, if you can see that lower versions like 1909, S4HANA 1909, S4HANA 1809, 1610, 1505, those versions does not have, we did not have this option. That's what this concept, the cash account concept has been introduced. Okay, please take note, very, very important one for your interview point of view, from when this concept has been introduced. So from S4HANA 2020 onwards, this cash account, GL account type concept has been introduced. Prior to that, it was not there. Prior to that, you can check if you have that S4HANA system, you can also very well verify. Now we are into S4HANA 2022. So it's already available, means it's a higher environment. So while creation of the bank account, right, for this one, we will see tomorrow how the reconciliation account concept has been introduced and what is the full scope and basic scope and what are the advantages the organizations are going to gain and what are the controls which are available as part of this one. I mean, the new cash account, we will see going forward. In the next upcoming sessions, you can see that. And also how the bank accounts will be approved workflow, which I am going to show especially in that bank account management, how the workflow will be configured, how that will be triggered in order to change the bank accounts. Okay, we will see that one in the upcoming sessions. Okay, so if anyone is having any open query, so please let me know here.
No, sir, still. No problem.
Okay, thank you. If no further queries, then see you tomorrow. Thank you.
Okay.